Hey, everybody out there, you're tuned in to 91.8 The Fan. You're in my corner, and I have a very special guest in the corner. Would you like to introduce yourself to all the listeners out there?
Yeah, hey, how's it going? My name is Ben Diskin, and I'm a voiceover actor.
Yay! I totally would have pronounced your last name wrong, so I'm glad you took that over for me.
Oh, no problem.
I'm horrible with names, so.
That's okay.
Just getting that out of the way. But now, I was really curious because we talked a little bit beforehand, and you said you did a few roles as a kid. How'd you get started in acting?
I got started in acting when I was technically still in my mother's womb. Both my parents are both actors, and their talent agency said to my mom, "Hey, we want to represent your son when he's born." So they signed me up with them. So I've been doing this literally since as far back as I can remember. Voiceover I started when I was about 6 years old, and I just remember that because I didn't know how to read yet, and they'd have to tell me what the script says, so I would record the lines back to them during the audition. And that's kind of how I got my start. That's the problem. Every time people ask me, like, "Hey, I want to do cartoons, what should I do?" My best advice is go back in time and start off from when before you were born, and then they just look at me like, "You're the worst person ever. That's not helpful." And I'm like, "I know, I can't help you at all. I'm sorry. I have terrible advice for that."
Well, that's actually kind of interesting because we hear a lot of people, pounding the pavement and whatnot, but the fact that you started at such a young age and you couldn't even read the script, I think that's unique all on its own.
I guess.
And now, what were some of the first roles that you got a chance to do?
Oh gosh, very very first stuff was just commercials, like for radio spots for I don't know, like Hershey's or McDonald's or Burger King, that kind of stuff.
Oh, now I'm hungry.
Oh yes, oh god, Burger King. Anyway, yeah, and then my very first actual animated series though, it was Problem Child, the animated series. It was like it went for like 2 seasons on the surprisingly now gone USA Cartoon Express, which was like a Sunday morning kids block of cartoons. It was just like this very bizarre little setup, and we went for a couple seasons on that, and it was my first time doing anything animated, and it was like really cool.
Well, for people who really want to start at the beginning and stalk you, that can actually be seen on Hulu right now.
Yes, I've seen some of those episodes, and I just go, oh my god, I really sounded like that? Dang, I can't do that voice now if I tried.
Well, because I've been watching Hell's Kitchen, and they have little ads in between for other Hulu stuff, and I've seen that lately, so I guess it's a good thing that we had this interview planned.
All right, great. Oh, sweet plug.
And now, actually, the voice that you're kind of slipping into, or maybe that's your natural voice, that's you're reminding me of a character from Codename Kids Next Door.
Yeah, that's a good reason for that. Number one from Codename Kids Next Door is really just my voice with a cartoony British accent. That's about it.
But you also played other characters on there as well.
Yeah, I played number one and number two, who's the pilot guy who's kind of
nerdy and high-pitched and sounds like he's on helium all the time. And he tells nothing but bad jokes. Oh, yeah.
That seems like that would have been a lot of fun to do.
Yeah, it was a really cool job. That was probably the first job I ever did that where I got to work with like some of the really really big names in voiceover. I mean, this was like every single day it was another like blast from the past of like, oh my gosh, that's Raphael from the original Ninja Turtles series. He's just coming in, and oh holy cow, that's Frank Welker. He does like every animal voice ever in like all these other cartoon shows I've ever seen. And oh, that's Dee Baker. Dee Baker's the guy who did Legends of the Hidden Temple. He was Olmec. Oh my gosh, this is so cool. So it was like that was like really what I remembered that of just kind of like going like, okay, settle down. These people just come in here. They do this for a living. Don't freak out. Don't act like a complete idiot, please. Oh God, because everything is like. I've always been an animation fan, so it was really a trip to work with all these like greats from the voiceover kingdom.
And so, did you have any moments where you messed up and you were like, "Oh no, why did I do that?" Oh.
I was actually very good about that. I don't think any of them knew how big of a fan I was, and hopefully they won't hear this interview and go, "Oh my God, Ben's a psycho." God, I'm glad he was quiet.
Well, make sure never to tell them. Don't worry.
Okay, thank you. Good, yes.
And all the listeners out there, too. Keep it a secret.
Shh. Oh, that's right. Oh, we're on the radio. No.
I think we'll be okay.
Okay, good.
And now, with a lot of real animation, like, U.S. animation, you're usually in the room with everybody else, but
That's right.
with anime, not so much.
Correct.
And do you find either one to be easier?
They're both easy and they're both difficult for completely different reasons. When you're doing anime, it's all the attention is right on you, which is kind of nice and kind of bad. It's kind of nice because you don't have to really worry about somebody else kind of having trouble with their lines. You don't feel like there's a lot of time wasted, but at the same time, it's like you 24/7. It's the you show. Go 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 go, and that can get a little bit exhausting after a while. That's the ensemble records for original animation in America. That stuff is really great because you build this real camaraderie with all the other actors. But at the same time, if you came in just to do like 3 lines, you might be there for the full 4 hours just because it's not your turn to record yet. So it can actually be really time consuming, even though you don't necessarily need all that time. So it's kind of a scheduling issue at worst. But they're both really awesome.
Now, with anime specifically, you have to match the beats and the lip flaps and everything. Was that
Yes.
difficult for you at first?
Well, that's kind of a funny story. My very first anime that I ever saw was Dragon Ball Z. I grew up on that. I loved it. And I remember watching it going, how do I get into this? This is like the coolest show ever. I want to do stuff like this. And whenever I'd audition at my agency, there was never any anime because I didn't realize that the pay scale is significantly less, and that's probably why they didn't have it. Well, they finally had an audition for an anime. It was called Blood Plus. And I tried out for the role of Kai and the role of Haji. Kai is like the brother of the main character, and Haji is sort of like the romantic manservant of the main character. And I didn't get Haji. That went to Crispin Freeman. Big surprise. And Kai, I got Kai. And it turns out that Kai was not just going to be in like a couple episodes and then vanish. He's actually a main character in pretty much every single episode of all 50 episodes. And they did not know that when they hired me, that I'd never done any anime before ever or any other major dubbing projects. So my dubbing experience, I learned it right on the fly on my very first job. The funny thing is they started instructing me. Dave Barr, who is our recording engineer, he jokingly said to me, he said, okay, Ben, here's how it works. All right, there's going to be 3 beeps. Now you come in where the 4th beat would be, okay? And because I kept jumping in right on the 3rd beat instead. And I'm going like, oh, on the 4th beat. Oh, where it would be. Oh, now I get it. Oh, okay, great. And he thought I was being sarcastic and joking back with him, but really I was like, oh, that's how it works. Oh, now I get it. Well, thanks for telling me how to do my job. So that was my first foray, and that's not the right word. That was my first job in anime, and that's how I learned how to do it. And actually, it's not been that difficult for me. It's one of those things I just kind of lucked out and happened to be okay at.
Well, now that you've gotten your foot in the door for anime or made yourself open for anime, has it been easier to get jobs in that field?
Yes, it has. A lot of times I would just get auditions directly from Studiopolis, where we recorded Blood Plus, because they sort of they had my contact information, and so they knew I would be willing to do it, and that's how I got auditions for Naruto and Naruto Shippuden, and Bleach and all that stuff. It was just thanks to that one opportunity that I got from Blood Plus. So I kind of owe everything to that one show.
And Studiopolis, if I recall correctly, they also do a lot of video games.
Yes, they do, but it's more along the lines that their facilities are used for those video games. Unless it's a product that's directly tied to one of the anime, it's kind of on its own separate thing.
Well, at least you've gotten to appear in 50 Naruto games.
Yeah, that's sweet.
And those must be a lot of fun because you get to do all the reaction sounds, like the grunts and sometimes if they're a fighter, like a death sound and things like that. So that must be entertaining.
Oh, yeah, always. I mean, I know some people who go, oh, gosh, I can't stand doing all the grunt stuff. It gives me a stomach ache. And you're like, I love all that stuff. The more I get to go. Yeah, people going like, from being punched in the stomach.
Oh, okay. That
makes
sense. Oh,
gosh, my stomach, it hurts so much to keep doing that noise. And it's, for me, I'm like, yay, more. It's like crunches. I don't care. It's fine.
More pain. Bring on the pain.
That's right. Bring it on.
So is there any point where you maybe have lost your voice, or are you just like, nah, not at all, that's easy for me?
Oh yeah, there was definitely one that really, this was the worst one ever. I mean, I've done some war video games where it's like 2 hours of yelling, and then for the next day I don't sound right. This one was the big one. This one was I played Venom on Spectacular Spider-Man. And Venom's voice is comprised of 2 tracks that one has to be recorded first, and the other one is basically dubbed to that audio track. One is just basically, it's just my voice, just speaking kind of like this in sort of a robotic manner. But the other one is this crazy voice that goes all over the place like this. And so it has to go completely nuts and sync up at the same time, and you still have to be able to understand what the heck I'm saying when they're both synced up. So we had to do multiple takes just for this one episode. It was nothing but me in the booth for 5 hours straight, screaming my guts out, and for the next, I would say, good week, I couldn't get anything. I didn't sound right. It sounded like somebody took like a flamethrower and just put it down my throat and turned it on. It was just horrible. I would do it again in a heartbeat because it was a really awesome episode, but boy, that messed me up.
See, I was going to ask how you did Stitch in the anime, but now I don't think I have to.
Oh, yeah, Stitch is easy.
Stitch is very simple. It's just talking like this, and I can do this all day long. It's very easy comparatively.
That's so cute. I'm sorry.
Thank you.
I think with that, we're going to take a very short break here on 91.8 The Fan, but don't go anywhere, because our special guest is in, hopefully. We'll see. So keep it tuned to your favorite station, everything you want and nothing you don't.
Hi, I'm the Celtic Guardian, but you guys can call me Dave. When I'm not busy being sacrificed in order to summon monsters that are halfway useful, I like to listen to 918 The Fan, one of the hottest online radio shows on the worldwide internet highway. Did I mention I have like 1,400 attack points? That's a big deal in my world, you know. Plus, I have a sword. Does the Blue Eyes White Dragon have a sword? No. Fuck the Blue Eyes White Dragon. Seriously.
Hey, everybody out there, you're tuned in to 91.8 The Fan. Would you like to give them a sign of life to let them know that I haven't chased you away?
Oh my gosh, I'm just amazed there are people still listening. Hi, wow, that's so cool. To all 3 of you, my name is Ben Diskin. How you doing?
If it makes you feel better, there's a lot of people going crazy in our live chat.
Oh wow, I can't even see that from here, so okay, cool.
Well, a lot of people are really enjoying the interview, so don't fret, there's more than 3 people.
Oh, thank God. All right, yay.
And we were talking a little bit behind the scenes. I was curious, are there any projects that recently came out or anything that you want to pimp out to the fans out there?
Well, let's see. A lot of the stuff that I'm working on, I've also signed a non-disclosure agreement on, so I can't really tell you exactly what it is. I will say this. The guys from Shadow Machine, the dudes who do Robot Chicken, they are currently working on a really awesome project. I got to do a table read for it. I'm not necessarily in it as a final cast, but look out for it when it comes out. It's going to be absolutely hysterical. So you're really going to like it. You'll have a hell of a good time watching it. I'll just say that. And then the other stuff is like, it's video games, but it's like, oh, this is part 2 to a really successful game, and don't tell anybody about it or it'll kill you. And they have ninjas. I've seen them. Their blades are sharp. I don't want to mess with them. Gosh. And then the rest of it's all just been like, well, I could tell you about a Jack in the Box commercial I did, which is not exactly the most fascinating thing ever. Well, do you have any questions you want to ask me about the business or anything? I could tell you stuff about that.
Well, I do hope in the future with video games that they release their cast a little bit earlier, because for instance, with Final Fantasy 13,
yes,
they didn't release anybody. We knew they were in the game, but until the day of, they would not let us request anybody for an interview for that game.
Oh God!
And it just seems so silly because you look at movies and they announce their cast beforehand, and people, legitimately fans out there, will buy things based on the voice actors in the video games.
Totally.
So I don't see why they do that.
I know. I mean, they could have listened to me as Cocoon member Jay in that. Oh my gosh. Such a pivotal role. I remember playing that game, running all over the place, talking to everybody, going, which one of these guys is me? That's right. Yes.
At least you went to the effort to play the game to do that.
Oh, that's just harsh. Oh gosh, it wasn't. Well, okay, some people don't like it. I understand.
Well, no, I really like that game myself. I just did not talk to everybody. I
Oh.
finished the whole game. I can't say it on air, so let me think of a nicer way to say it. I get all the trophies for everything on PlayStation 3. Like I get all the achievements. For
Okay.
everything. So for Final Fantasy 13, that took me like 120 hours to do all the side missions and everything else.
Yeah, I bet it did. Jeez.
So I didn't talk to every inhabitant.
Oh, that's okay. You didn't miss much. I think I basically just said, "Oh my gosh, what's that?" No, it was something like that. So. Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
at least it was a really important role.
Oh yes.
And now, for the people who really want to keep track of what's going on and stalk you hardcore, do you
Okay.
do any of the social networking thing, or do you have a website or anything like that?
You know, I should have a website, but every time I think of doing it, I just completely like lose interest and don't do it. I haven't even updated my voice demo in like, I don't know, 12 years. It's still the same from when I was 16. But I do have a Facebook account. I'm Ben Isaac Diskin on that. So if you want to friend me, just tell me like, hey, I heard you on 91.8 The Fan, and I'll friend you. If you just send me a blank request, those I just ignore. So that's all. That's pretty much the best way to say hi to me.
Awesome. And are there any conventions that you have planned, perhaps?
Unfortunately, no. I really only go to stuff that like where they either invite me or if I'm told, hey, contact this guy and tell him you're interested by somebody else who's been. So that's how I went to the MCM Con in London. And like, yeah, if anybody wants me to come out, I'd definitely love to come out. I love conventions. They're really fun, but nothing planned.
That must have been a really nice convention. I've never been to, but we have a staff member in the UK who goes to that one every year. And I always hear that it's really good, and it's a pretty big one.
It actually is, yeah.
In London, yeah.
I was surprised by how big it was. I mean, it's not, San Diego Comic-Con huge, because that's like a whole other level, but it was definitely, I mean, there was, I think, like 40,000 people there. It was something pretty big.
And so that must have been really nice to interact with the fans, like, face-to-face for once.
Oh, yeah, I love doing that stuff. It's really cool, and, just, like, signing autographs and going like, oh, wow, people, like, liked me in Bleach? Well, that's cool. Okay, cool. I liked it.
Did you have any memorable moments from the convention?
Let's see. I think. Oh, I know what it was. The hotel room I was staying at was the soundproofing wasn't so great, and right on the other side, even though I was on like the 4th floor, down on the ground, they had this huge stage set up for people to do karaoke. So I was serenaded to sleep by people singing the Pokemon theme song over and over again. That was my big memory of that place. It's just like, I want to be the very best that no one ever was. Like, the dulcet tones of the sweet nerd community. I am truly home.
Well, I know how bad some of those can sound. We were actually, well, I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. I actually went to a convention. We were invited, and the three of us, including myself, had to be judges for a karaoke thing, and that lasted like 2-3 hours, and that was awesome.
Which one of you guys was Simon Cowell?
I think it was me, actually. I was pretty mean. I'm not a very nice person, contrary to popular belief.
I don't believe that.
Well, I don't sugarcoat things.
Well, that's good. I appreciate stuff like that. I like honesty.
But I hope in the future you get invited to more conventions. That way, people can, stalk you from the bushes in a nice way. Hopefully nobody's, outside your window and at your hotel room or anything creepy like that.
No, that's never happened.
That's a good thing.
Someday. Oh.
And also, just for nostalgia factor,
yes.
Because I've had a few people in our live chat bugging me about it.
Okay.
But we talked about it in the beginning, before we were on air, but about Eugene from Hey Arnold.
Uh-huh.
And I would like to, if possible, let you tell them that you can't do that voice anymore.
Oh yeah. For those of you guys listening, if you wanted to hear me do Eugene, I'm really sorry I can't do that voice anymore. Not because I don't want to or anything, but that was just my natural speaking voice before my voice changed. So now if I do it, it sounds like what I'm doing right now. It just sounds like me talking and saying, I'm okay after getting injured. That's not really very good. That was like a really cool show though to work on as a kid, because it was one of the few shows going on at the time that really just hired nothing but actual kids to play kids. So I got to work with just tons of other kids, and we had fun, and it was just like a really relaxed environment and a good way to work on any program when you're a child. So you don't feel like, oh, it's a bunch of adults and me. It was something like really just open-ended and fun.
Oh, that's actually really cool. And, all your friends must have known the show, too. I remember that show being really popular.
Yeah, my friends all knew that show, and mercifully, none of them knew that I was on it. As in school, I would just get tormented if they ever found out that I was, doing acting stuff. So when I was able to do voiceover work, it was really cool because even though they'd hear my voice and they'd talk to me about the characters on the show, not once did they ever go, "Hey, you know what? You sound exactly like Eugene. I don't know why." And I was like, all right, this is sweet. I get to go and be an actor, and nobody, hurts my feelings or bullies me about it. So it was really cool.
Well, that is sort of a effeminate role, so maybe it's a good thing they didn't know.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true.
And now, since we're nearing the end of our interview, sad face, I was wondering if you'd be willing to participate in a 91.8 The Fan tradition.
Is that where I talk about 91.8 The Fan Station?
Basically, we ask if you'd be willing to do a radio bump.
Oh, very cool. Okay.
Yes. The trick of it, though, is that we ask you to do the takes live on air.
Alrighty.
Oh, he's not sweating yet. That's a good thing. But we ask if you'd be willing to say, "Hello, my name is," you actually insert your name. "I do this," you can insert characters you do, or just that you're an actor. You're pretty much able to do whatever you want with that middle part.
Okay.
And the important part at the end is, "And you're tuned into 91.8 The Fan."
Okay. Hi, my name is Ben Diskin. I'm a voiceover actor. I do anime. I do animation. I love it. And you must love this because you are tuned in to 91.8 The Fan.
Look, that wasn't that hard at all. No bloopers, no nothing.
All right, well, sorry. Next time I'll screw up.
Actually, no, I'm very proud of you. You even said our name earlier in the interview. Nobody does that. They always screw up the numbers.
98.1, 92.9, 90... Shut up!
That's exactly what happens.
The secret was, before you guys called, I literally just practiced that over and over and over again so I didn't screw it up.
Oh, he prepared. Look at
I
you.
prepared. I did. I even wrote it down.
Is there anything else you'd like to tell the listeners out there?
Keep being fans of anime because we need all of you guys. It's an awesome job and you keep us employed. God bless you all.
And thank you so much. This was a lot of fun.
Oh, thank you. My pleasure.
And for anybody out there that missed any of this interview, don't make me go beat you with a hammer, and make sure to keep your eyes peeled to 918thefan.com and watch out for the interview. It'll be up within the next few days. So stay tuned to your favorite station, 91.8 The Fan. Everything you want and nothing you don't. Coming up next is Flo with their song Go.